Headphones on, let's do this.
Hey, do you know of a podcast I could listen to that has nerd and comic books and stuff? I really can't find one.
I say, you ever heard of the Nerd Dome Podcast?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Dome Podcast, episode 271. I'm your podcaster without fear, Luke, and today I am joined with the one, the only.
Hold
See,
on.
now,
Here I am.
if we could just dub the first couple bars of X-Men 97 as it zooms out, and zooms in, and zooms out, and zooms in, that'd be great. It's just us two. Tonight, our cohorts from Filiati Studios are otherwise occupied, but yeah, we're back. Sorry for the little bit of a break. Life's been crazy, as per usual. But what have you been up to, Ryan? What's new with you?
Not a lot. I took some time off of work to do house stuff, so I got a lot of house projects done. I replaced all the exterior light fixtures with smart lights, so now all the little outside lights sync to my decorations. So now my house
that's cool.
Spooky. I can turn them on to ghost mode, and then they flicker, and I'm like, anybody who looks at my house is gonna have a seizure.
Hopefully, because people drive by your house.
I know.
You don't cause a terrible car accident. When you walk out, it was the lights, huh? Knew it. That's awesome. Charles Nerd Storson and I just got back from the When We Were Young tour and festival thing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
All the emo bands, so much emo. It was fun, except the giant blisters I got that kind of got me sitting in one spot the entire festival, but it was okay. They had like 5 stages, and the stage that we happened to be sitting at when it happened was the one that I wanted to see at. So I was like, okay, cool. And I was under like this. So this stage had Coheed and Cambria, The Used, Fall Out Boy, Dashboard Confessional, Simple Plan. Not my favorite, but they were there.
I love Simple Plan.
The stage right next to it, because they were like 2 conjoined stages, but they would just switch off which bands were at what. So we had like Taking Back Sunday was over on the other one, My Chemical Romance, A Day to Remember, which I'm not a big fan of theirs, but they put on a really good show. There's more. Cobra Starship. I don't know if you remember them.
I do.
Yeah, they were there, and they did full set. Like they did full costume changes.
Nice.
They came out as like, Pan Am air stewardesses and pilots at the beginning, and I was like, "This is all right. Okay, cool." I did, because a lot of the bands were going up there, and you're like, "We haven't played together in 10 years," or it's been we took this time off and we came back. And when the Used got up there, kind of right before they got off, he kind of took a shot at him, and he's like, "We've been here for 25 or 27 years. We haven't broken up. We haven't stopped making music, and we haven't stopped touring. So thanks for coming and see us, and you'll see us again." And then they played their first big hit, because the way it was set up is each band was supposed to play an album. So they picked an album and they played the album. So the Used were playing their second album. So at the very end, they played their first song. Some bands didn't get the whole time to play the whole album. They only had like a half hour, 40-minute set, so they kind of skipped, but they got it all in there. But Fall Out Boy didn't give a shit. They just played whatever they wanted.
Nice.
That was fun. They had a whole they had like animatronic bear things and a giant 8-ball. Like they brought everything. Like so they were just constantly changing. But I cannot remember the name of the bass player, Pete something.
Mm-hmm.
The man doesn't know how to end a conversation or like a statement. He goes up and he goes, "Yeah, this is good. This, we're having fun." And then just walks away from the microphone. He just he had nothing to say, but he felt like he needed to say something. It got better as the show went on, but at the beginning it was just awkward as shit. Taking Back Sunday was not great because I'm pretty sure the lead singer guy was out of his mind on drugs. He was all over the place, and it was like he wasn't even singing. He was just kind of like yodeling most of the lyrics. It was a thing. But yeah, so that's what I just got done doing a couple days ago. So it was fun. I did feel bad because it's Vegas in October. So during the day, it's 70, closing up on 80. But when the sun goes down, it drops down to 50 real quick. And I felt bad for all of the girls in the fishnet stockings and the skirts and the tank tops, because they were all like balled up on the ground just trying to stay warm at the end of the night, but they still wanted to like jump up. So you just see these little hopping shapes on the ground. It's pretty funny. I felt bad for them. I'm like, ladies, the merch booth is right there. Just go get a hoodie. Just go get a hoodie. You'll be okay. But yeah, no, it was fun. But also, we haven't had a podcast since we had the Salt Lake FanX.
Yes.
Back at the end of September, which seems like a million years ago.
Like a month ago.
Almost a month ago. We're sorry. But yeah, so how was your convention?
It was good. It was different this year because I didn't have a lot of stuff planned that I wanted to do. But it's still busy.
Yeah, I know, because you were going and granting Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I didn't even do that very much.
Yeah, Chris says that we're gonna get that cover drawn for you of you as an X-Men, but your power is that you fix Wi-Fi.
Oh, I like that.
Just in the X suit, maybe the X. There's the Wi-Fi signal, and then there's an X in front of it.
I like that.
And your pouches are just like modems.
Yeah. For the job side of it, it was really smooth this year. Like there was very little shenanigans to be handled.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, it was good. The shenanigans that did happen were like the usual shenanigans. So I was like, oh, this is the same thing that happened last year, and we just go do this to fix it. And it was fine. Like, no surprises, nothing that we hadn't seen before. So it was really smooth.
Good.
Brandon was like, I'm sorry it's so boring. And I was like, just because it's smooth doesn't mean that it's boring.
Right? You're like, I quite enjoy this.
Yeah, this is fine. So yeah, all the IT side went really, really smooth. And the meeting Linda Hamilton was really fun. She had a really good panel. She's going to be in the next season of Stranger Things, which I did not know until she started talking about Stranger Things.
You're like, why? Yeah. Are you talking about Stranger Things?
And meeting Mary from Lord of the Rings, The Last Hobbit. I was very excited to complete my Hobbit collection. He was pretty cool. He's very low key. Pippin was by far my favorite one to interact with. He's very outgoing and very funny. Very engaging. Mary was very like low key. He's like, oh, thanks, nice to meet you. Kind of is very relaxed. The X-Men the X-Men animated actors were definitely my highlight.
Mm-hmm.
I did a group photo with them, which I've never done before. I usually do the individual ones.
Yeah.
And I had it in my brain about how I wanted this to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know exactly.
Instead of them telling you exactly how it was going to go.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know how this worked exactly, but I had it in my brain that I was going to be in control of the situation.
Instead of being shuttled in like cattle, turn, smile, leave.
Yeah, I don't know why I had this situation planned out differently, man, because I should have known exactly how this was going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
But our another podcaster friend of ours who's on the Push My Buttons one, Jamie, I made him go first.
So as a test run,
yeah,
like, you go.
He went ahead of me, and they it's everybody behind, like everybody was there, and they just kind of like made him go in the middle and like forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's just not the way I wanted this to go,
Like,
because I was like,
no.
I was like, I'm gonna arrange them the way I want. I don't know. It was like completely
arrange them like the
was
action figures you have.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, this is not how you sit on my shelf.
Yeah, exactly. I was
You
like, I
are
was planning
rogue,
one of these.
You go here.
Yeah, like one of that right there, but with me in the middle. So I walk in, kind of thing, and then I had a FanX shirt on, of course.
Mm-hmm. As is tradition.
Yeah, and so the lady that voices Jean, caught eye of my shirt, and she's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was like, "You're my favorite. Can I stand by you?" And she goes, "Of course," and like tucks me in next to her. I'm like,
That's
"Oh."
awesome. That's awesome.
And like does this thing where she like is gesturing towards my shirt.
Yeah.
And like nobody got like Jamie's is like he's standing in front. Nobody's really like touching him. Meanwhile, mine like she has her arm around me, and like Magneto is like putting his arms on me, and like everybody. I'm like, oh,
that's awesome. You're like, this is more correct to my shelf. Goodbye.
Yeah. And then awesome. The picture gets taken, and I turned to her and I was like, not only do I have a cool shirt, I have this tattoo because I have the FanX symbol on my leg. And she's like, that's so pretty. And she gets all excited to look at it. And so I got the picture first before I did the autographs. And then so I went through her line to get the autograph. She remembered me and she's like, can I look more at your tattoo? And I'm like, sure. And so I like walk behind her table, show her my tattoo more. And so it was really cool. And I got to have a really I was like, Jean is my favorite hero of all time. And I said, and that's largely a part of because of you, because you brought this character to life for me for the first time. This is my first interaction with her. And I had this really cool, like meaningful interaction with her, which is one of the things that I really enjoy the most about meeting these people and telling them like, this is what your work means to me. And she's like, she's like, this is what Jean means to me. And she's like, my quintessential Jean moment is when she's taking the Mcron crystal into the sun, and she's like, she believes she's going to be ended. She believes that this is her last moments. And the only thing her last lines are, the only thing she talks about is she's thinking to Scott. She's like, oh, everything's so beautiful. The light is so pretty, Scott, if you could only see it. Like, she's like, that's my quintessential Jean moment. Like, she's going to die and she can only think about how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that was really cool, like, interaction.
That's awesome. Did she then fall over and go, oh, Ryan?
So in the panel, they had the panel of all the voice actors, and what was really interesting, something that I never considered, is that these voice actors never, up until now, never had an opportunity to interact with their fans.
Right, because
like,
they
never, they never gone to the conventions. They didn't really realize how popular the cartoon was, how impactful it was for us. Until X-Men 97, and now they're all kind of back together, and they're doing the voices and going to these events and having these interactions for the first time with us. And she talks about, she's like, so many people bring up the montage of my noises. And she's like, I didn't realize at the time how sexual they sound. She's like, nobody mentioned this to me. Brought this to my attention.
They're like, good. Can we get another take, please?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome.
But yeah, one of the things that the guy that voiced Gambit, who voices Cable in the X-Men 97, he talked about, he's like, something that never occurred to me. He's like, you guys imprinted on our voices. Because when you guys read the comics to this day, you're hearing us. He goes, I never realized that. It's like, that never occurred to me. And the whole audience is like, yeah, you are the voices of these characters. And you always will be. Like, when we're reading the stuff, yours are the sounds that are in our heads. And like, it's interesting to me that they just never knew that this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, they were oblivious to what this was.
Yeah, just never passed. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so our mutual tattoo artist was there, and Chase told her about the interaction and her reaction to your tattoo, and she was like, oh, that's so awesome. And then she said, did he get it signed? Because I will tattoo the signature on there.
I thought about that so much because I'm like, I was like, I kind of want to have her sign it, and then I was like, that's weird. Like,
she also said if you just had a signature, she could do that too.
I know,
but
I was like, it's weird having someone's signature tattooed on my body. I don't know how I feel about that. That seems weird to me, but part of me is kind of into it. Part of me feels really weird about it.
It's all right. You'll get it done and then forget about it. Like, oh yeah, I have that. That's awesome. Yeah, this time both of our panels were very well attended. It's almost as if they like comic books or something. So we had our history of Wolverine one where Andrew was I was just catching Cyclops strays the whole panel. And I'm just like, what did I haven't even brought anything up, and I'm over here catching strays. Thanks, man. But it was cool kind of going through like his history and kind of like the development of the character and what parts that we thought were impactful from a creative standpoint and from like a narrative standpoint, and just, impactful writers and artists on the character and stuff like that. But at the very end, Chelsea asked, what makes Wolverine the best X-Men? And we were all like, hold on. And I believe Andrew said, I don't know if I agree with that when Nightcrawler exists. And then I started asking people, I'm like, who's your favorite X-Men? They would be like, oh, I love Wolverine, but Nightcrawler's really cool. Or, oh, I love Gambit, but Nightcrawler's kind of badass. He is always everyone will have their own personal favorite, but there's a unison kind of agreement that we all are like, yeah, but Kurt. I mean, he's one of the coolest designs in comic book history, period. And he's awesome, and he's fun, and he's not a dick, and he swashbuckles, and he bamps. And he's also, like, in the X-Men 97, he was like their grief counselor. I was like, this guy does everything. Nightcrawler can do anything. So yeah, that was fun. Our Jack Kirby panel, standing room only, basically. Nice. That was great, and that was the one I expected. I expected more people to be at one that's Wolverine because of the movies and stuff like that. But the Jack Kirby one was filled in, and I couldn't have been happier. So we got to talk about kind of his work, his impact on other artists, and like Marvel as a whole, all the way up into the movies and stuff like that. It was awesome. But then this year I decided I was going to try and get more original artwork, like sketches and commissions and stuff like that. So of course I got Daredevil. I got a Daredevil from Afua Richardson, who is a gem of a human. I felt bad because I went up to her on Thursday and she just had like a couple things on her table. And she's like, sorry, I have more stuff coming. I was in Baltimore and they lost all of my stuff. So I'm waiting for them to print up a bunch more so I can go pick it up. And I was like, I am so sorry. That has to suck. And she's like, yeah, it kind of does. And then I brought Andrew and Natalie over to meet her. And again, she was super, super nice. And then she was like, I need to get water. And Andrew was like, we can go to the green room and fill up your water bottle for you. And she was like, you would do that? Yeah. So I went and filled up her water bottle and I brought her back 2 cookies and she was like, thank you. She was super, super cool. If you ever get a chance to meet her, go do it. And she drew a beautiful Daredevil for me.
Nice.
Also got to meet Joe Rubenstein, legend inker for Marvel. He worked with Frank Miller and Claremont on the Wolverine miniseries. I got a Daredevil from him, which is black and white, and it's beautiful. I also ended up getting an Elektra Daredevil from Jeff Hassings. He was at the local creator booth. Andrew introduced me. Guy's art is phenomenal. And then also James Stone was there, and I got a cool Daredevil in black armor that actually Andrew picked up for me. He's like, here you go. And I guess they've worked with him on covers for their comics. So go check all those guys out. They're really nice people. Every single one of them. The art is gorgeous. So yeah. And met up with the friend and guest of the show, Philip Seavey, while he was there, and he did a Nightwing cosplay that was phenomenal. But yeah, no. Overall, it was fun. Overall, I had a good, like having 2 panels. Usually, there was one time where I had like 4 or 5 a day, and that was a lot. So having 2, it was like, oh, okay, this is a little more manageable. Though I am still upset, I did not get my Daredevil panel on the 60th anniversary of Daredevil. That I bought a costume and wore it the entire day. Well, 80% of the day. That thing got very toasty.
I bet it did. It looked toasty.
It was warm. Was it you or was it Chase that said it was hard to talk to me when you couldn't see my eyes?
It wasn't me.
Okay, so it was Chase then.
When you got up and tried to breathe on me, I touched my nose to yours.
Yeah, he was like, "This is weird. I can't see your eyes. I don't like this." It was awesome. But yeah, it was a good convention. Excited for next year. Get some more comic stuff in there. Always a plus. But kind of speaking of, go ahead.
I was gonna say on the comics end, again, our con doesn't do so good at advertising comics people, but I was wandering around and someone informed me that Ryan Parrott, who wrote the second story arc and on of the Boom Power Rangers stuff, was there, and I was like, really? So I grabbed a bunch of my comics, which I apparently have put away. We're sitting over there. To have him sign, and so I grabbed a bunch and of my like holographic covers and stuff, and wandered up to his table, which was fairly empty. And I was like, "I am so excited to meet you. Can you sign my books?" And I plopped them on his table, and he's like, "These are like really hard to find." And I was like, "I was collecting them as they came out." And so I got like
thank you.
Yeah. I got a bunch of the ones where it's the holographic where they're holding the helmets, and then I got a bunch of the ones where the Ninja Turtle series where it's the turtles holding the helmets. And I started talking to him about that. I've talked about it on the show, and I think I mentioned something like I've never read a series where I felt like it was written for me. And I was like, it was really cool to be like, I felt like you wrote this for me. And he's like, really? And he's like, he got all excited, and we were talking about that, and he's like, well, I really wanted to do this, but then then the editor is like, no, do this, and like we had this really like kind of like cool conversation about what his ideas were and what he finally went with, and it was a really cool interaction. Like it was
awesome.
fun to talk to him for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, you guys were there for a while. I kept
I was talking to him for.
Yeah, I kept walking over, and I was like, no, they're still there. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go meet this person, say hey. Nope, they're still there. Excellent. My daughter had a really good time too. She got to do her cosplay as Sailor Jupiter, and she
looked really good.
She was loving that. She was loving that. But remember how I say she's obsessed with hair and hair color and it matching everything. She's like, okay, Dad, let's go find a list of superheroes and anime characters that have my hair. So that's the thing that starts I was like, you can wear a wig, and she goes, no, I think I just want to do my hair. So I'm trying to talk her into doing Kitty Pride next year, because I think that would be amazing with little Lockheed, but we'll see. We'll see if she accepts it or not.
I have the cute little plushy stuffed Lockheed.
To be perfect.
Pyro.
She already has an aspect of the costume, so she has to. And I told her she could do Spider-Gwen and just wear the mask. And she's like, oh, mask. And I was like, I get that. Trust me, I get that. I took my Daredevil helmet off, and like the whole front was just pooled with sweat. And I was like, I've been here for an hour. And then, I got some good tips on hey, you should cut here to put some mesh for ventilation, get rid of this liner. Philip was talking to me about it too. He's like, yeah, you got to do this here, do that there. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, next year, I think I might try and put together like a comics accurate Daredevil one, or more, not so much from the show, because the material can be a little bit
just
lighter.
All spandex.
No, portions, but speaking of all spandex, I do still think I might do the Cyclops one. But it's the Cyclops with the X across the face, so when I actually have the hood on, I can't see a goddamn thing because it's right over my eyes. Which makes sense for the character, but not for a human walking around. So I think if I do that one, I'll just have like the visor or some like red sunglasses, and just keep the hood down until someone wants to take a picture or whatever, and then put the hood back on, do the picture, take it off immediately. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, it was good. But kind of staying on topic with superheroes and supervillains and stuff. Have you watched any of The Penguin yet?
No. You guys kind of told me everything I needed to know about it when you talked about it last time. Okay. I was like, I'm not that interested in it.
So it's the last 2 episodes really picked up, and I've really enjoyed it. In the Batman movie, you had Falcone, who was the mob boss. This one, his daughter is kind of the main character in it. And I talked about her last time we recorded. She was in my favorite episode of Mythic Quest about the life and death of a video game. But so she basically gets framed for murders that her father has been committing because she was starting to catch on. And so she gets sent to Arkham by her father and is continually stuck there the whole time. So she didn't do anything. She did nothing wrong, but she's going crazy. And she's getting very like, okay, when I get out of here, all right. And then in this last episode, she got out. She'd been in the show, but you kind of see like what she did and how she went about it. And it was so good. The last 2 episodes have been so good. But the other one that I know you have been watching, Agatha. Tell me all your feelings.
It is so good. I love this show. It has lived up to all of my expectations.
Mhm. I would say that this is the best Marvel show to watch week to week since WandaVision.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Like hands down, because you're like, what? You didn't get that with Falcon
Mhm.
and Winter Soldier.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Or Secret Invasion or anything like that. You didn't get that. You were just like, okay, cool, next week. There's little twists and stuff, but it's not like this where you're like, oh, what's this? What's that? Who's this? What's going on?
Yeah.
And speaking of who's this, I'm glad that both of our predictions showed up in the show. But you were correct on the teen. But I would just like to say I was happy that they put Nicholas Scratch in there, even if he was just a disembodied ghost voice. I'm like, cool. I feel validated. But yeah, so we have Wiccan, and that was who you wanted him to be.
Yeah, I needed him to be.
How did you like the Origins of Wiccan episode?
That was really good. I was curious to how they were gonna do
the disembodied spirit going into a dead kid.
Yeah, what they were gonna do. I was thinking they were gonna do more like some type of like rapid aging kind of thing or whatever. But
they still pretty close to the comics.
Yeah, way more close than I thought they were gonna do. Because they started doing it, and as soon as they did, like, it showed Billy Kaplan, I was like, oh, they're going for it.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased with that. I was really impressed that they kept that much of it. Yeah. So I am very interested now in what's gonna go on with Tommy.
Right. Right.
I think that's really cool that that's what he's after on the road. Because I thought it was going to be more to do with his mom, with Wanda, but I'm very excited that he's there after Tommy. Who do you think Audrey Plaza is?
I mean, the popular theory out there is that she's Death.
I'm digging that theory.
Which would be weird. Because I'm like, if you put Death in after Thanos,
sure,
that makes it a little weird for you know what I mean. It makes it a little weird for me because that was the thing, that was his whole thing. But no, I think that's probably where they're going. But again, I'm not sure. That's the other twist, and I've also I don't know what the actor's contract status is, but with at the end, Scarlet Witch coming back.
You think?
I don't know. I like listen. Looking at her contract will tell you yes or no. But I don't know. It could be with how intertwined she is with the kids, obviously, and with Agatha. I could see Agatha trying to bring her back to get her power. Or if she ever because we don't know if we saw a big red flash in Multiverse of Madness when stuff collapsed on her. That could be anything.
Sure.
She could have zip-zapped anywhere. It's literally magic. She could go anywhere. Maybe she just went away and then seeing her children being there, she's like, oh, I got to come back.
Yeah, because there's been a sigil on Billy this whole time. So I can see that masking him, but has Tommy just been a disembodied?
Or maybe Tommy's been hanging out with Mom.
Maybe.
And they both come back.
Maybe. I like that.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. Super excited that they name dropped Mephisto.
I
don't know how that's going to play out. I'm interested.
Right?
What going to do with that? Maybe
it's always Mephisto.
Maybe Audrey's Mephisto.
That would be cool.
I like that's kind of a competing theory that I find interesting.
That could be cool.
The other thing is that
I'm down with either, really.
Yeah. the other interesting fan theory is that Mephisto is Agatha's father, because and I like the origin of this theory because it's based on colors, because Agatha's mom's magic is blue and Mephisto's red, so red plus blue is purple.
Okay. Then why is it Nightcrawler purple? Just saying. Yeah. I really liked in the Origins of Wiccan episode. I liked the relationship with him and his not family when he's just like, yeah, sure, everything's fine. He just faked it.
Yeah.
And then with his boyfriend, and he was just like, cool, let's go, dude. Like, let's do this. Like, he was totally down. Evan fucking Peters showing back up.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Ralph. I was like,
when they were Boner family reunion shirt,
right?
Merchandise, man.
when they were in that when they were in the parking garage, and I was like, oh, it's him. I was like, oh, that's totally him. It's totally gonna be him. And then it was, and I was like, Quicksilver. This is awesome. Yeah, no, that was sweet. Again, his boyfriend just being like, when he starts patting him down for the wires, and he just holds his shirt up, and he's like, okay, we're good. That was awesome. And just how he was just like, all right, cool, we're rolling with it. No questions asked. Let's do this. And I was like, that is something you don't see a lot of.
Yeah.
In media, just in general, there's always the skeptic or the non-believer, but he was just like, I trust you, man, and let's do it. I love
another thing along those lines that was really impactful to me was the parents being supportive of the gay Jewish kid. Like, there was no, I was like, it just
wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, I was really braced for like the goth gay Jewish kid coming home from his date and having like a moment of tension with his parents. I was like,
but they were like, yeah.
And I was like, that was
he's
really,
not staying for dinner.
Yeah, I made his favorite. I was like, that was really refreshing and cool, and I didn't even realize like I was like,
you were tense
braced for it.
Yeah.
And then until that didn't happen, and I was like, oh. Nice.
You just felt it melt away. Yeah. I was like, oh, look, it's a normal reaction to a boyfriend with a teenager. And I was like, this is nice. I enjoy this. But yeah, I think they have two this week and next week, because I think the finale is Halloween, or right before Halloween. Okay. So I think that's how they did that. That's that. Like, I'm all in on that show. I'm very excited. But speaking about that Marvel show, we're gonna talk about some news. Yes, we had New York Comic Con was this past week, and we got a bunch of stuff announced and teased and all that fun stuff. And I'm going to start with the Daredevil Born Again news that came out. So we have a date. March 4th, 2025 is when Born Again comes out. During the panel, I saw a little clip where they were going to play something.
Tuesday?
Yes. And requested. But they said that he told his kids to cover their ears because dad's going to say some bad words. And all of the early stuff I've heard from it is that it is actually, I wouldn't say more violent than the Netflix stuff. But the violence in season 1 and the beginning of season 2 was so much more intense than season 3 and like Defenders. This one apparently has that feel of like the beginning of season 2 where it was Daredevil and Punisher. right? Where he's getting like drilled in the foot and he's punching guys with a gun, right? Like just so they said that was the feel of what they saw, and that makes me very happy.
Nice.
Very, very happy.
Turned it up to 11.
Yes, and they did a display that had Wilson Fisk's suit and the Daredevil suit, and they asked Charlie Cox about it, and he was like, "I love how bright it is." He's like, the colors are really, he's like that. He called it Daredevil red. He's like, that Daredevil red is perfect because it is definitely brighter, even brighter than the red that was in She-Hulk. But again, that's supposed to be a little darker anyway. This is the only thing that's missing is the damn logo. And it is going to be my only complaint because otherwise it looks fantastic. And it was kind of funny during the panel, which is kind of jumps over to another bit of news. There's a new Daredevil comic coming out from Charles Soule and Steve McNiven called Daredevil Cold Day in Hell. And it centers on an elderly Matt Murdock who has regained his powers after years of living without it. And then he returns to battle on a mission to save humanity because Captain America gave him a mission. But Charles Soule told that to Charlie Cox, and he's like, cool. Like, I still got a job in 20 years. I can just play Matt Murdock when I'm 60 years old. So he was excited about that. I guess sticking with Marvel, we got a pretty cool announcement on the first day. Marvel Unlimited is getting 3 new comics being launched. Astonishing Spider-Man, which are out. Issues 1 and 2 are up there now for free. Astonishing X-Men, which will start in December, and Astonishing Avengers, which is going to be in January. Cool thing, again, good friend of the show, Philip Sevey, is doing the art for Astonishing X-Men, so it looks amazing.
He does so good with the Unlimited platform. Like he does so good with that. I love what he does with it.
Yeah. And the Astonishing Avengers promo team that they have on it is questionable for me, but I'm like, we'll see what it is, because it's Captain America, as is tradition. She-Hulk, also another longtime Avengers, and Daredevil Elektra, who murdered people for a long time. So I'm interested on how that dynamic is going to play out, or how she roped into doing that. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We also got an announcement of a new ongoing series, Ultimate Wolverine, which this
like the Ultimate.
Yes, because they've been doing this. You remember how they got rid of that alternate universe and smashed it all together? We have Ultimate Spider-Man again. We have Ultimate X-Men again. Now we have Ultimate Wolverine again.
I didn't realize
Ultimate
that.
Black Panther. I was like, guys, didn't we just do this like 15, 20 years ago? Okay, cool. We're doing it again. All right. But they also teased new details about One World Under Doom, because at the end of Blood Hunt, Dr. Doom is Sorcerer Supreme. And that's how.
Pretty sure that happened before.
Yeah, and it's actually leading into, I believe it's called 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, and it's
one for each leg.
Yes, Dr. Doom is trying to kill and sacrifice Spider-Man to save reality. That's what I'm getting from it so far. So we'll see. We also got the announcement of Spider-Man 2 for PC. Will be out in January. What else? There's during the Women in Marvel panel, they announced a new book, a new one-shot, Women of Marvel She-Devils, and it is following the street level characters. So there's Echo, Black Widow, Elektra, Daredevil, Bloodline, and I am blanking on the other character that's on the cover here.
It best be Shanna.
Is it Shanna? Okay.
It best be.
Okay. So yeah, Shanna the She-Devil. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. Yeah, so that's coming out. Yeah, they did a whole trailer for the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, which is pretty fun. We had there was something else Marvel before we move on. They did a cool new Marvel logo that they had on their booth, and it's it's spelled out Marvel, but it has characters in it, and like inside the M is Daredevil, Kingpin, and Storm, and then it goes to the Human Torch, Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, Captain America, and Herbie, which I'm excited that he's going to be in Fantastic Four. And then we get a little bit of the Thunderbolts. Get to see the first face image of Red Hulk, Harrison Ford. Really cool.
Oh, the face, because we haven't seen that.
Yeah, he's just
a mustache.
No, he doesn't have a mustache.
That would be funny because they make a joke
Upset.
about the mustache being gone, and then
it comes back when. Then you've got Agatha, Wiccan, and Aubrey Plaza's character is in there, and then you have characters from What If. You've got Jeff the Shark,
yes,
and Magic and Scarlet Witch on the end. So that's awesome. Lots of cool stuff. Tons of other comics announced. I'll get a full list of the creative teams and stuff coming out. We did get some news today that Blade has been removed from the MCU.
Interesting.
So maybe Wesley Snipes was right in Deadpool 3. Maybe he was correct and we just didn't know. Maybe it is only Wesley Snipes. Yeah. There's a new Marvel RPG, tactical team-based RPG coming out called Marvel Mystic Mayhem. And so it's all magic. Mayhem. So it looks like we got Doctor Strange, Armor, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch.
Is this a mobile game?
Yes. From the same people it's NetEase. They do the Future Fight. So yeah, but it's like, hey guys, we want another Ultimate Alliance. What? You want another RPG mobile game? Here you go. No, that's not what we said. that is the opposite of what we said. But I say that, yet I just unlocked Gene on Future Fight, and I was like, yes. It's taken me 4 years, but yes. Also Marvel Comics announces a Star Wars Jedi Knights. And it is it says the history of the Jedi Order and its members will be explored in a new ongoing Star Wars series from Marvel Comics. Star Wars Jedi Knights will open with a story set before the Phantom Menace, focused on Qui-Gon and a mysterious villain out to kill him. The first issue will be written by Mark Guggenheim. And yeah, it gets on the preview image. Let's see, we've got Yaddle and Yoda, Mace Windu, Qui-Gon, Dooku, Aayla Secura, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, Shakti, Luminara, pretty much Adi Gallia's in there, all the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the artwork looks amazing. Also, the Venom War is wrapping up, and there's a new Carnage, And the new Carnage
Like
is
a new
Eddie
host?
Brock. Yeah, Eddie Brock Carnage. So he's getting his own.
I don't think that's been done before, so that's cool.
No. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. Listen, if anyone can like deal with it,
Mhm.
are we gonna get Hero Carnage now because they want to draw a red symbiote bulking guy instead of a black symbiote bulking guy? Okay, so we got a trailer and a release date for Dune Prophecy. It comes out
Yeah.
November 17th.
I'm excited for that.
That seems like something that you'd be very excited
I'm
for.
very excited about it.
We got a trailer for Creature Commandos from DC,
Oh, I forgot about that.
and it looks fantastic.
Nice.
Because it's basically Amanda Waller says, the Senate says we can't use humans to do this. None of these are humans. We can do whatever we want with these guys. So it's the team is the Bride, Dr. Phosphorus, the Weasel, Nina Mazursky, and G.I. Robot, who was a Nazi killing robot from the 40s. And I love that there's a bit in there where Dr. Phosphorus is saying something and he's like, I kill Nazis. And they're like, he's not a Nazi. He goes, okay. He puts his gun away. But another really cool thing, it was announced, I believe, during around when E3 was supposed to be. It's called Secret Level, and it's that anthology series that's got different video game. Like one has the guys from Warhammer 40K. One has the Kratos from God of War, and like it's a video. One's a Mega Man one, and like each one is a different video game themed thing. We got some voice cast for various ones, but there's some pretty good ones in here, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Hart, Keanu Reeves, Tamura Morrison, Gabrielle Luna, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Clive Standen, Laura Bailey.
Patrick Schwarzenegger.
He is. He was in The White Lotus. He was in Gen V. He played. Who did he play in Gen V?
I don't think I know this person. It's okay.
It's.
Is he related to Arnold?
I believe so. I mean, that's not a. Oh, he was in the Aaron Hernandez show. He played Tim Tebow. He was Golden Boy in Gen V. But yep, his dad is Arnold.
Huh.
Doesn't look like him
Nope.
at all. He must have got his mom's genes there. Yeah. Let's see, what else did we have? We got James Gunn saying that the Supergirl movie is going to start production in January, which is really cool. We also got
Do we know who plays Supergirl?
I believe that we looked it up, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. We had the little announcement video that Crypto is going to be in the Superman movie. So
I love Crypto.
That's always good.
It's gonna be Millie Alcock who played young Rhaenyra Targaryen.
That's right. I feel like we did do that. But yeah, so a whole bunch of stuff, and again, we've got more stuff that was announced that I didn't have popped in there for the notes today, but we will get those for the next show. I was very excited about the Daredevil stuff, obviously. My body is ready. Oh, that was another thing. DC is bringing back Vertigo, the Vertigo imprint.
Oh,
Um,
I'm like, who's Vertigo?
and Batman Hush is going to
Mhm.
get a sequel from Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee,
Hmm.
which should be awesome. Yeah, and the Vertigo is their creator-owned comics
Yeah.
line. So I think they did that Black Label a couple years ago. I think
Yeah,
that might have been their test run for
Okay.
this. They're doing a Peacemaker presents The Vigilante and Eagly double feature. So Eagly and Vigilante.
My two favorite characters from that.
Yes. We also got Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2. That's happening. So, why not? And Batman Part 2, the Batman Part 2 is being pushed from October of 2025 to October of 2026. So it got pushed back a year. But yeah, I mean, as long as it's for the right reasons and it's not for the New Mutants reason, that's still my favorite. I will believe it when it's released, because that thing was in hell for like 6 years.
That was a good
Believe it
running
when I
joke
see
for a
it.
long time.
I still don't think New Mutants is out, actually. But yeah, have there been any comics that you've read that you want to talk about?
I actually have. I have been reading the X-Men Unlimited. Not the one that Phil Seavey did, the one before it, where Nature Girl starts becoming villain, and that's right. It leads up to X-Men Green, and I've really enjoyed that. I'm still a little bit behind, but at least I'm reading comics again.
Right.
My work situation changed a little bit, so I'm trying to bring my life back into balance. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that. Their team is like Sauron and Nature Girl and the names of the other people that are newer characters have escaped me. But there's one that's pink that like feeds off of like negative emotions, so she just likes to hurt people, and she's kind of creepy.
And, you seem to be having a bad day. Yeah. Slurp.
But yeah, she just like Nature Girl's descent into villainy is pretty interesting. Also, the villain group of old ladies that are nature. What is their name? Orniculture.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They're
yeah.
They're always entertaining. I love them, and they're in it as well. And yeah, it gets pretty dark. It gets kind of violent. And I've been really enjoying that. And I'm almost at the point where it switches into X-Men Green.
Okay.
Yeah. So I highly recommend that. Excited to. I think the next story arc is where Phil picks up. I think. I'm excited to because I've read parts of that, but I'm excited to read the whole run. Yeah.
You have to see when you get to the book of the original page that I bought from him with Danny Moonstar.
Yeah.
Like, look, it's the thing. That's cool. And so that's what you've been diving into, is that pretty much?
Yeah.
I've been diving into some stuff, some older stuff, and then some not so much older stuff. So you remember when Wolverine died, and it was like the death of Wolverine, and then surprise,
when he got encased in adamantium?
The most recent time that he died.
I think that is the time he got encased in adamantium.
So it's
like when X-23 took over afterward.
Kinda, and like Kitty Pryde's kinda in charge of the X-Men currently. Yeah.
Mhm.
And she's sending out teams to try because Logan's body disappeared. So now
Yeah.
they're trying to.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Mhm.
sending out teams. So I
Yes,
read the
yes,
4-issue miniseries Weapon Lost.
Yeah.
With the weirdest set of heroes put together that I have ever seen. So the team is led by Daredevil. You can see why I picked up this comic.
Yeah.
And he's like, even it's written by Charles Soule, so that's why Daredevil's in it. But even he's like, I'm a lawyer. I don't know how to investigate a missing person. I don't know why she asked me to do this, but here I am. I owe her a favor. But the team he puts together starts to make a little bit of sense, but he's the only one that doesn't make sense in the team. He's just the one who brought them together. So he gets everyone's favorite super cop from New Adelan, Frank McGee, the former NYPD detective who can lift his glasses up and shine green laser like light out of his eyes, and he photocopies everything in his memory. Like he can zoom and enhance, which is amazing for a detective to have. That's great. You can just look at a crime scene and then go back. And he can also blind people. So you've got a cop, right? So they go get a private eye. Misty Knight. Again, Misty Knight, Frank McGee, missing persons. Everything's working. I was like, here we go. And then they were like, man, Logan gets around. He is everywhere. How many languages do we speak? And Matt's like, I speak Japanese. And so my Spanish isn't bad. I passed French class. Well, that's 3 out of only 97 more to go. And they're like, hold on, we know somebody. And so they go and get Cypher. So Cypher, Daredevil, Misty Knight, and Frank McGee. And I'm like, this is the weirdest set of people. I could, like, did you just, like, do was it the bingo ball thing and just pull it? Cypher, put him in the team. Misty Knight, cool. But yeah, the only one that doesn't make sense for investigation is Matt. Unless they just brought him there to punch people, which is what he does. He fights. I am missing his name. He is the cyborg Wolverine.
Cyborg Wolverine.
Yes. They tried to clone him, and then they started putting cybernetics on him. Well, I'll have to look it up real quick. But anyway, they're trying to track him down. Albert. Albert is his name.
This is not ringing a bell.
Albert, an android doppelganger of Wolverine, was built by Donald Pierce in the Reaver's secret underground base. He created the Wolverine android in order to lead the real Wolverine into a trap.
Yeah, I don't know why I have no memory of this. I've even read this book.
Yep. So he's just a cyborg Wolverine that they fight and beat because they think they're tracking Logan, but they're actually tracking Albert. So I read that. I said, this was a thing that happened. It wasn't bad.
Doesn't something really bad happen to Doug?
Yes, he gets his throat cut by Albert.
Oh. Yeah,
but
it's
then
like, I'm pretty sure he
heal him.
dies or almost or something. Like,
yeah, they heal him with New Adelan technology. But the one cool thing that I thought about it is because that I liked about it is when they first find Cypher, he has gone down the rabbit hole and he's trying to decode the internet.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's in this house and there's just screens everywhere. And then Frank McGee goes, they're like, how do we get him out of here? He's like, same way I get my daughter. He shoots the screens and he's like, no more screen time. And Cypher loses it. But the best part is he keeps trying to like steal cell phones and screens.
It's like he's an addict the whole time.
Yeah. And then at the very end, he gives someone their phone back that he stole. And he's like, I think I need some help. Like, that's the end of it. And I was just like, okay. That part of it was very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't regret reading it. and I got it at a good deal. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's a thing I read. The other thing I'm currently reading was last year's Scarlet Witch, The Last Door. They have a new one coming out. Issue 5 is about to come out. Same creative team. So basically, Scarlet Witch and Darcy from Thor, they're friends, and they start up a mystical emporium thing, right? And she creates this spell that is this door. And when people are at their lowest and they need help, but they don't know how to ask for the help, that door appears to them. And so they walk through, and then Wanda helps them. And I was like, this is a great idea for an ongoing, because you could just keep popping. As long as you have ideas, you can just keep popping people through that door. I love that Darcy is her assistant or running the shop when she's off doing this stuff. But the last one was really good because Polaris came to town. And you get a little sister adventure with Wanda and Polaris.
Aww.
And, at the end, they're just, they had this big, big adventure where they had to go find a sword for this. She's like from a different dimension, a different micro universe. And she needed a sword to help free her people from all these bad guys. They find the sword, and it's just been it's been rusted out and crumbled. So Polaris and Wanda use magnet power and magic to reforge the sword, and they go on and they have this big, big, awesome adventure. And then there's the little moments where they're eating, they're drinking coffee and hanging out, and they have a really good sisterly moment. Just we haven't been what does it say? Wanda feels like she has to make up for everything that she's done, and Lorna's like, hey, Wanda, you're fine, you're enough. And she goes, and trust me, I'm a doctor. So
I love anybody that brings up that Lorna finished her doctorate.
Yes, and it's hard to see, but you get a little sisterly coffee embrace there. And Darcy, being on par with Darcy, is harassing Polaris for wearing sunglasses inside. But there's an ongoing kind of thread thing in here that's pretty good. There's from one of the people she helps, she gets a little necklace that is immune to magic, to any magic. And so she's like, what the hell is this? She does a little side adventure with Viv, the Vision's daughter, when she's like, they're trying to figure out what their relationship is, because her mom was built using the brainwaves of Wanda. So it was kind of Wanda. So yeah, that was an interesting one. She goes on an adventure with Storm, and she keeps telling, she's like, Storm, you're not just a mutant. She's like, you got a little bit of that magic in you. And she's like, no, I don't. And she's like, they're sitting there doing something, and she tells her to call the lightning. She's like, but think of your ancestors when you call the lightning. And this big lightning sigil appears behind her, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Storm is badass. She can use magic. She could use Thor's hammer. She's already an Omega level mutant. Bring it on. More of this, please.
That's really cool. Who wrote this?
It is Orlando. Let me see. Steve Orlando.
I really like when people do some of the deep cuts, because that's another kind of deep cut too, because Storm first got really heavily tied to magic in the Magic miniseries, because when she gets stuck in limbo and she doesn't really have much of her power, she realizes she has the innate magic ability and starts developing that. And so that's really neat.
It's awesome. So this was the 2023 issues 1 through 7, I believe. I think that's usually trades, right? That's how trades work.
Yes.
Oh wow, the text is right through all this swirly stuff, and I can't read it. But it was their 2023 one, and they started a new number one earlier this year. Issue 5 comes out, and again, I'm excited about that because it's Scarlet Witch and Daredevil, which I'm like, have they teamed up? I don't know.
I don't know.
So this could be fun. Daredevil seems to be popping up everywhere lately. Like he's in
Almost
the new
like he's got a
Spider-Boy
new
comic.
show coming in.
I know, right? I'm just waiting for the t-shirts to start dropping so I can spend way too much money buying Daredevil t-shirts again. But yeah. So I would suggest both of those. I still have a stack about this thick that I need to get through to get caught up. Just to add more.
I really like that they did that when they do like a Wanda and Lorna story, because they're so estranged, but they have like the common daddy issues and the common like trauma backstory.
Like you guys should get along.
Yeah.
With just trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always enjoy that.
And you know what? I looked into it because I was like, I know a little bit about Polaris. I don't know a ton about Polaris. So I went in and I was like, she has never had her own book.
No. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
She's been X Factor. She's been in books. She's been part of teams, but she's never had her own book. And I was like, I feel like it's about damn time that she should get her own book, because she's got cool Magneto. She's got magnet powers, man. Magnets can do everything in the Marvel universe.
Are Wanda and Pietro Magneto's kids again or not?
I think they are.
Okay.
I know they took it away.
Yeah.
Kinda. But then I think they brought it back. I don't know. That was them trying to make it match up with the MCU, and then they're like, shit. We've got them now. No, just kidding. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah. So that's all I got. You have anything else before we go? Guys, make sure you go check out Lady Studios. Chris does his streams on Whatnot on Mondays at 7. See him draw awesome stuff, get commissions, buy stickers, all that fun stuff.
Good stickers.
We've got if you're in the area, in the Utah area, we have Wasatch Comic-Con coming up November 8th and 9th. They've just been dropping some comic creators. Ben Templesmith is going to be there. A lot cool stuff. So just keep an eye out for that. And yeah, so guys, thanks for listening and watching if you're on YouTube. And yeah, that's all I got. Ryan?
Don't forget to subscribe.
You may now exit the dome. Wait.
Fuck responsibility.
Oh, I can see the whole time.
Hail Hydra.
Andrew still doesn't know what to say here. No. Even if
When does he learn?
He's alliterative. Maybe you should write it down. Bye, everybody.